people! Welcome back to Review, reading Fahrenheit 451, and we are now on part 3, Burning Bright. So, here we go, starting on page 113, and it's got a big L on it that looks like that. So yeah, okay, here we go. Lights flickered on and the house doors open. All down the street to watch the carnival set up. Montag and Beatty stared, one with dry satisfaction, the other with disbelief, at the house before them. This main ring in which torches would be juggled and the fire eaten. "Well," said Beatty, "now you did it. Old Montag wanted to fly near the sun, and now he's burnt his damn wings. He wonders why. Didn't I hit enough when I sent the hound after your place?" Montag's face was entirely numb and featureless. He felt his head turn like a stone carving into the dark place next door, set in its bright border of flowers. Beatty snorted. "Oh no, you weren't fooled by that little idiot's routine, were you? Flowers and butterflies, leaves and sunset? Oh hell! It's all in her file. I'll be damned. I've hit the bullseye. Look at the look on his face. A few grass blades in the quarters of the moon. What trash! What good did she ever do with all that?" Montag sat on the cold cinder of the dragon, moving his head half an inch to the left, half an inch to the right. Right, left, right, left. She saw everything. She didn't do anything to anyone. She just let them alone. Alone? Hell. She chewed around you, didn't she? One of those damn do-gooders, with their shocked spoilers and thou silences. Their one talent, making others feel guilty. God damn you. They rise like the midnight sun to sweat you in your bed. The front door opened. Mildred came down the steps, running, one suitcase held by a dreamlike clenching rigidity in her fist, as a beetle taxi hissed to the curb. "Mildred!" She ran past, her body stiff, her face floured and powdered, with her mouth gone, without lipstick. "Mildred, you didn't put in the alarm." She shoved the light in the waiting beetle, climbed in and sat mumbling. Poor family, oh, everything gone. Everything gone now." Beatty grabbed Montag's shoulder as the beetle blasted away and hit 70 miles an hour, far down the street gone. There was a crash like the falling of a dream fashioned out of a wrapped glass mirrors and crystal prims. Montag drifted about as if still incomprehensive. Storm had turned him to see stonemen in black wielding axes, shattering the window panes to provide cross-ventilation. The brush of death's head mocked against the cold black screen. Montag with his saber. "Do you hear me? What's happening?" "This is happening to me," said Montag. "What a dreadful surprise," said Beatty. "For everyone nowadays knows absolutely certain that nothing will ever happen to me. Others die, I go on. There are no consequences and no responsibilities, except that there are. But let's not talk about them, eh? By the time the consequences catch up with you, it's too late, isn't it, Montag?" "Montag, can you get away, run?" asked Faber. Montag walked, but did not feel his feet touch the cement. And then the night grasses. Beatty flicked his igniter. Nearby the small orange flame drew his fascinated gaze. What is there about fire that's so lovely? No matter what age we are, what draws us to it? Sorry, I burped there for a second. Beatty blew on the flame and lit it again. It's perpetual motion, the thing man wanted to invent but never did, or almost perpetual motion. If you let it go on, it'd burn our lifetimes out. What is fire? A mystery scientist gave us gobbledygook with friction and molecules, but they don't really know. It's a real beauty. It's that it destroys responsibility and consequences. A problem gets to Burnstone, then into into the furnace with it. Now, Montag, you're a burden, and fire will lift you off my shoulders. Think quick, sure. Nothing to rot later. Antibiotic, anesthetic, practical. Montag stood looking in now at his queer house, made strange by the hour of night, by murmuring neighbor voices, by littered glass there on the floor, their covers torn off to split it out with like swan feathers, an incredible book that looked so silly and really not worth bothering with, for these were nothing but black type and yellow paper, and revealed blinding. Mildred, of course, she must have watched them hide the books in the garden and brought them back in. Mildred, I want you to know this job by all your lonesome, Montag, not with kerosene, not a match, but piecework, with a flamethrower. Your house, your cleanup. Montag, can't you run? Get away? No, cried Montag hopelessly. The hound, because of the hound. Faber heard, and Beatty, thinking it was meant for him, heard. Yes, the hound's somewhere about the neighborhood. So don't try anything, Ready? Don't try anything. Ready? Ready. Montag snapped the safety catch on the flamethrower. Fire! A great nuzzling gout of fire leapt out to lap the books and knock them against the wall. He stepped into the bedroom and fired twice, and the twin beds went up in great shimmering whisper, with one heat and passion light. Then he would have supposed them to contain. He burnt the bedroom walls and the cosmetic chest because he wanted to change everything: the chairs, the tables, the dining room, the silverware, the plastic dishes, everything that showed that he had lived there in the empty house, and a strange woman who would forget him tomorrow, who had gone and quite forgotten him already, listening to her seashell radio, pour in on her on her as she rode across town alone. As before, it was good to burn. He felt himself gush out in the fire, snatch, rend, rip in half with flame, and put away the senseless problem. If there was no solution, well then now there was no problem either. Fire was best for everything. The books, Montag. The books leapt and danced like roasted birds, their wings ablaze with red and yellow feathers. And then he came to the parlor, where the great idiot monsters lay asleep, with their white spots and their snowy dreams, and he shot a bolt at each in the three blank walls, and the vacuum hissed out at him. The emptiness made an even emptier whistle, a senseless scream. He tried to think about a vacuum upon which the nothingness had performed. He could not. He held his breath so vacuum could get into his lungs. He cut off his terrible emptiness, drew back, and gave the entire room a gift of huge bright yellow flower burning. The fireproof plastic sheath on everything was cut wide, and the house began to shudder with flame. When you're quite finished, said Beatty behind him, you're under arrest. The house fell in red coals and black ash. It bedded itself down in sleepy peat-gray cider, and smoke blew over it, raising the waving slowly back and forth in the sky. It was 3:30 in the morning. The crowd drew back into their houses. The great tents of circus had slumped into charcoal and rubble. and show over as well. And the show was over as well. Montag stood with the flamethrower in his in his limp hand. Great islands of perspiration drenching his armpits. His face smeared with soot. The other firemen waited behind him in the darkness, their faces illuminated faintly by the smoldering foundation. Montag started to speak twice and then finally managed to put his thought together. Was it my wife that turned in the alarm? Beebe nodded, but her friends turned in an alarm earlier that I let ride. One way or another, you'd have got it. It's a pretty silly quoting poetry around free and easy like that. It was the act of silly damn snob. Give a man a few lines of verse, and he thinks he's the lord of all creation. You think you can walk on water with your book, while the world can get by just fine without him. Look where they got you, in slime, up to your lips. If I stir the slime with my little finger, you'll drown. Montag could not move. A great earthquake had come with fire and leveled the house, and Mildred was under there somewhere, and his entire life under there, and he could not move. The earthquake was still shaking and falling and shivering inside him, and he stood there, his knees half bent under the great load of tiredness and bewilderment and outrage, letting Beatty hit him without raising a hand. Montag, you idiot! Montag, you damn fool! Why did you really do it? Montag, did you not hear? He was far away. He was running with his mind. He was gone, leaving the dead, soot-covered body to sway in front of another raving fool. Montag, get out of there, said Faber. Montag listened. He struck him a blow on the head and sent him reeling back. The green bullet in which Faber's voice whispered pride fell to the sidewalk. Bee snatched it up, grinning. He held it, half in, half out of his ear. Montag heard the distant voice calling, Montag, you all right? He switched the green bullet off and thrust it in his pocket. Well, so there's no more then, I thought. I saw you tilt your head listening. First I thought you had a seashell, but when you turned clever later, I wondered. We'll trace this and drop it in on your friend. No, said Montag. He twitched the safety catch, the flamethrower. Bede glanced instantly at Montag's fingers, and his eyes widened and fainted a bit. Montag saw the surprise there and himself glanced to the hand to see what new thing they had done. Thinking back later, he could never decide whether the hands or Bede's reaction to his hands gave him a final push toward murder. The last rolling thunder of the avalanche stoned down about his ears, not touching him. Bede grinned his almost charming grin. Well, that's one way to get an audience. Hold a gun on a man and force him to listen to your speech. Speech away. What'll it be this time? Why don't you bletch Shakespeare at me, you fumbling snob? There's no terror. Cassius is in your threat, for I'm armed, so strong in honesty that they pass me as an ideal wind, which I respect not. How's that? Go ahead, you second-hand lecturer. Pull the trigger. He took one step toward Montag. Montag only said, "We never burned right. Hand it over, guy," said Beatty with a fixed smile. And then he had a shrieking blaze, a jumping, snarling, giggling mannequin, no longer human or known, all writhing fame in the lawn as Montag shot one continuous pulse of liquid fire on him. There was a hiss like a great mouthful of spittle banging a red-hot stove, a bubbling and frothing as if salt had been poured over a monstrous black snail, to cause a terrible liquefaction of a boiling over a yellow foam.